Welcome back to Sports Talk ATL. I am Chase Earl, joined by Alex Lord and Jake Gordon. The Braves head back to Truist Park after a 5-6 road trip, sweeping the Royals, winning the first two games against the Padres in outstanding fashion, nearly shut them out both games. Then they gave up one run and lost 1-0 in the final game. They only gave up 2 runs to a very good Padres lineup. It's just a testament to this pitching staff. It's finally starting to get healthy. We saw Max Fried and Kyle Wright back. Spencer Strider looks like an NL Cy Young candidate. Charlie Morton looks a lot better this season early on in the year. And now I think we got Bryce Elder coming up in the first game at Truist Park against Hunter Brown, which is a very exciting matchup versus two kind of polar opposite pitchers, but also both very young pitchers with a lot of talent and with really good numbers to this point in his career. How do you see that shaking out? Give us your thoughts on Hunter Brown for those who don't know about him, Jake, of the
Yeah, Hunter Brown is a stud. He was a top prospect for a reason. He's a guy, he owns a career 1.38 ERA, sub-2 this season, just like Elder. He throws hard, and he locates his pitches really well. He doesn't throw super, super hard, but he's got a nice fastball, good curveball, good slider, good changeup. He's got the classic 4. And he's a really, really good pitcher. I'm excited to watch him and Elder. I think that's going to be the best matchup of the weekend, and that's saying a lot when you got Max Fried going against it's either Fromber or Christian Javier.
Yeah, it's Javier on Sunday. Max Fried versus Javier on Sunday.
Yeah, Framber against Wright. Framber's having a great year.
Yeah, Framber's an absolute stud. He's an absolute stud. Did we miss him this series?
No, he's pitching against Kyle Wright on Saturday.
Okay. All right. I mean, listen,
I was about to say the Astros might be 9-10, but they are not a 9-10 baseball team. I mean, they're how often do we see the Braves?
They'll be fun.
That is some really high quality evaluation there, Alex. The team that has been to the World Series in 4 of the last 6 years, went to 6 straight ALCSs, and won the World Series the last 2 years is better than a 9-10 team.
I was looking up the pitching matchups, and all I saw from a Houston Chronicle, which is the equivalent to the AJC here, said fans don't panic. So obviously there's some panic. Why don't you?
Oh yeah, no, trust me.
Yeah.
Oh no, I mean I agree, but listen, are you calling the Braves fans that panic every year smart people? No, I mean it's just I think we like to
Yeah, but Braves fans. All right, so I'm talking to Braves fans who are going to look at that 9-10 record and be like, "Oh, we're fine."
I'm just messing. I'm
this
playing.
This is still just a sick team. This is basically what I'm saying. It's still a sick team.
They are the class. They are the class of the AL. They're the best team in the American League. And even without Jose Altuve, this is going to be a fantastic series. Rematch of 2021. The Braves have had the Astros number, not just in that World Series where they won in 6 games, almost won in 5 games. But last year they came to Truist Park with Verlander and Valdez and I think Javier. I think they had their top 3 guys on the mound and lost 2 out of 3. Damn near got swept. Won the last game. I was at them. It should be. And listen, what the best part about this is coming back home after a week where the Braves haven't been at the Battery and you get the Astros showing up in the first series. I can guarantee you it's going to be a sellout. It's going to be a madhouse at Truist Park. And it's going to be one of the best environments in all of Major League Baseball for this matchup. And I think that's going to propel the Braves because, listen, let's not beat around the bush. They play a lot better at home, and they play a lot better in front of that home crowd, especially at night when it gets rowdy in there. It's a great environment. At regular season baseball, there is not a better environment, in my opinion, than Truist Park. And these kind of matchups show why.
Yeah, I went to 2 games against the Padres at home in the first series, and I will not be going this weekend. I expect it to be equally packed. It's almost unbearable, and I love Braves baseball, but it's been unbearable. I'm sitting in the chop house like this, looking over, trying to see the game. I mean, it's a madhouse, and
maybe buy a seat.
I do have seats, but I just I end up in the chop house. I always buy seats, but I just end up in the chop house. It's the best place to watch it. If you have your hands on the rail and you're not, behind the home plate, it's the best place to watch the game, especially if you're drinking.
Yeah. And, something that I think we're going to be seeing a lot of this weekend is the Jorge Soler home run on the Jumbotron. They're going to milk that thing for all it's worth.
Yeah.
Good call.
Let's talk about some of the reasons the Braves have had so much success early in the season. We know about the top 3 in the order. It might be the best top 3 in all of baseball, and certainly at the beginning of the season, it's probably been the best top 3 in all of baseball. All those guys look like legitimate MVP candidates, and they're all, I think, what do you say, Alex, top 7 in odds, with Ronald Acuna leading the way right now for the NL MVP. So it's absolutely sack. They deserve a huge amount of credit for this team's success. But what about the small guys? Because we've had so many injuries, and I got to give a shout out to my boy Jesse Chavez, the old man goat. He's 39 years old. He's been in the league for 16 years. He's kind of been an afterthought in the league for 16 years. He's appeared in a league leading 10 appearances, hasn't given up a run, pitched in 2 of the most important innings against the Padres, shut him down, set him down in order in the last one. Another guy, Dylan Lee. Dylan Lee was a guy who he was DFA'd by the Marlins or traded to the Braves for basically nothing. The Marlins basically are the Braves farm system. That's the great thing about that's the great thing about the Braves farm system. I mean, this guy was a nobody. He makes his MLB debut at 27, has a 2.13 ERA for the team last year. But bullpen pitching is volatile. He doesn't have this outstanding stuff that blows you away. So I didn't really know what to expect in year 2. This guy looks even better, and he does it with 2 pitches. And I think Peter Moylan said on the broadcast about what makes it so difficult, a guy like this, a lefty like this. He only throws like 92, 93, and then he has a slider that works off of it. And he mentioned Patrick Corbin back when Patrick Corbin was Patrick Corbin. And I think he was saying a quote from Chipper Jones or something. He said, I could never tell what was coming out of his hand. It was just the same thing. And Dylan Lee obviously has a little bit of some of that because at 2 pitches, he makes guys look silly. He mixes in a changeup occasionally, which is a better pitch than he pitches it. But he really dominates with 2 pitches. They both, Chavez and Lee, have appeared in 10 games. Most of any pitchers haven't given up a run. I mean, they've been unbelievable, and we've needed them to be without Iglesias and McHugh.
Yeah, and it's funny because if you think about it, at the start of the season, if you had told me that we would be right here, and you would say that Lee and Chavez have pitched the most innings, I would say we would be about 500. Because if you think about it, that means they're probably mopping up. But they haven't been. They've been absolutely dominating, and this is a team that doesn't even have Raisel Iglesias yet. Colin McHugh's still on the shelf. They're only going to improve. And those 2 guys have submitted their spots. There's absolutely no way either one of them is being sent down. I don't know what they're going to do. I guess Tonkin might be a casualty.
Yeah, Tonkin will be a casualty.
But, oh, my goodness, man. The bullpen so far has been fantastic. And this is something, we talk about the Braves in seasons past. They've typically been a slow starter. I mean, even in the year they won World Series, they weren't over 500 until the end of July. But they've come out of the gates absolutely red hot. And you talk about the top 3. There's another guy we got to talk about. It's Sean Murphy. All of you, I saw all of your stupid comments. 6 at bats. Everybody was throwing up their hands. We shouldn't have got this guy. He's a bum. He can't do
Lost
this.
the trade.
Well, now what? And, not only is his offense fantastic, he has an absolute laser, man. He is just throwing guys out left and right. And it's a really smart move. Chase, I think you brought this up. I had never really considered this, but with the bases getting bigger, you're only allowed 2 pickoff moves, 2 unsuccessful pickoff moves. You got to have a catcher that can control the run game. And that's what Sean Murphy has done. Travis d'Arnaud is a fantastic hitter, but he's not exactly known for his defensive acumen behind the plate. Sean Murphy is. Sean Murphy, I always called him JT Real Muto Light, and he's starting to get closer and closer to that JT Real Muto status as a catcher who can really hit and absolutely lock down behind the plate. And that is such an asset.
Yeah, going further down the lineup, and the lesser talked about contributors, Sam Hilliard, Chase's favorite, and Kevin Pillar, both, doing it with the stick and in the field. Sam Hilliard I know we lost the game, but he robbed that home run yesterday against the Padres. And I mean, he's not getting sent down. I mean, when Michael Harris comes back, and he's probably sticking in the lineup, probably starting in left field. So, just like you guys said, all the big names, we're talking about all these guys, but it's those 7, 8, 9 hitters that are, just moving the belt and getting those top guys in the lineup back at the plate. It's as complete of a team as the Braves have ever had, which is crazy. They just won 100 games and a World Series. And, the CEO and president of Liberty Media was talking about, this is the greatest team in franchise history before they even stepped on the field. I didn't think he was crazy by any means, but, I feel safe in saying, this team, barring health or any injuries, they're going to win 100 games pretty easily.
I would say very easily. And I think they could challenge the 110 mark, which is pretty insane. But I don't think it's ridiculous because if you date back to Memorial Day of last year when they brought up Michael Harris and Spencer Strider, and you look at their wins, I think they've won like 92 or 93 games and only have like 40 losses. That's like 110, 115 win pace dating back to Memorial Day. So it's not ridiculous to say, listen, the Mets have been playing really good baseball. They just won 5 out of 6 on their road trip, but they haven't gained any ground on the Braves. And it looks exactly like last year. and we're only going to get better. And I'll even go a step further on Sam Hilliard, who has been my guy, and I touted him as a potential starter in left field if he looks like this. And you see what he brings. He brings value in every way. Defense, stealing bases. He already has 3 steals. He's played 8 games. Offensively, he is a much better hitter now that he's just the shift span has gone. And listen, he's not going to hit 400 or whatever he's hitting right now, but he is a solid offensive piece and maybe better than Marcell Ozuna. Maybe, just maybe better than Marcell Ozuna. And I would go as far as to say he will be the left-handed platoon option in left field once Michael Harris returns. He'll start against all right-handed batters. You'll see Eddie out there against left-handed batters with Travis d'Arnaud as the starting catcher, and everyone will finally get what they wish for. Marcell Ozuna will be out of the lineup. Listen, I've defended the guy for long enough, but it's about time where we end the experiment. And I don't know if they're doing this for service time, so he gets 10 years in the pension plan. Maybe they are. I think there's a little more to it. I think they wouldn't be starting him as much if that was the case. I think they did have a hope that he would turn things around. And over the last 2 weeks, he's had some really bad luck, and he's put together some better at bats. And I do think he's much better than he's shown. But at the end of the day, is he better than Sam Hilliard? No, at least not right now. And so when all those guys get healthy, which Harris should be back hopefully within the next week. We don't know. We haven't really heard anything on d'Arnaud. It's his 4th concussion, so they're taking things really slowly with him. But I have to imagine it can't be lingering for that long, right? At least you hope not. So he's probably going to be back pretty soon. And then you look at this lineup, and there is absolutely no hole because Travis crushes lefties. You can have Travis and Sean playing against lefties. You can just do so much with it. And then you can talk about the depth of the pitching staff. I mean, we haven't even talked about Mike Soroka. I mean, Mike Soroka just tossed 6 innings over 91 pitches. Yes, the control was a little bit, but he's got that movement. He induces so much soft contact, and his velocity has been up for most of this year. There's just so much to be happy about. I could literally talk 60 minutes without both of you about everything I like about this team. And you just be like, this guy's on crack. Are they really that good? Yes, I watch every other major league team, and I look at the holes they have on their roster. It doesn't matter if there's injuries or not because the Braves are suffering from more injuries than anybody. And I'm like, hole. When I look at the Braves roster, the only thing I can find right now is Marcell Ozuna, and he doesn't even really have to be in the lineup. They're just trying to get him better.
That's the craziest part too. That's the craziest part too. It's Kevin Pillar just goes out there and sucks with whoever he is. He comes to the Braves and he's a productive piece. Same thing with Sam Hilliard. It's just wild how the Braves, and it's a testament to, I guess, the coaching staff, the lineup, you can't pitch around anybody in the lineup. That certainly helps. But it's just a world-class organization, top to bottom. Credit to Alex Anthopoulos, Terry McGurk, everybody at Liberty Media. I mean, thank God we have the Braves because the Hawks and Falcons are just depressing.
Hey, don't throw the Falcons. Do not lump the Falcons in with the Hawks. Do not lump them in there. They don't deserve that. They're coming out of it. These two franchises, they're I don't even know what to do. But they're one's going up and the other's going down. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Do not lump them in, man. But Jake, you got anything to add?
Yeah, I wrote about 2 things. I wrote about Sam Hilliard when we first acquired him. Looking at his baseball savant page, the guy was 98th percentile in speed, 99th percentile in arm strength, and 96th percentile in hard hit, hard contact. And I said, there's something there. And if the Braves can unlock this guy's swing, they're going to have a really quality starter. And so far, he has been that. And he is a lefty platoon guy. I do understand that. But the fact of the matter is, you're probably going to see a lefty at least once every 4 or 5 days. So, hey, he's pretty valuable. And Marcell Ozuna,
he hits lefties, so he's going against righties. So he's going to be in there a lot.
Yeah. And yeah. Sorry, I got that backwards. So the thing is with Ozuna, he is represented by CAA, which is a massive agency, and the Braves like to keep things friendly with those types of agencies and things like that. And so as much as they might not like him and as much as the fans might not like him, they're going to get him his pension. They've done it before. They did it with O'Flaherty, Venters. They'll call these guys up just for a couple days, even if they're just complete lemons, just to make sure they get their pension because they want to take care of those guys. That's, kind of how
good business
works.
Yeah, it's good. So, but he'll be on the bench.
We'll see if when Michael Harris. Yeah, we'll see what happens when Michael Harris comes back. You cannot send Sam Hilliard down or DFA him or anything.
No. It'll be Eli White optioned. Eli White has options. He hasn't been some great piece since coming up, and they'll keep Pillar up. So I think that's an obvious decision. Furthering the point on Sam Hilliard, Fangraphs did a piece that I wrote about talking about what the problems were with Sam Hilliard, because the guy came up and he could hit bombs and do all this, but the shift really killed him. He was killed by the shift more than just about anybody. So instead of just like trying to hit over the shift, like you see a lot of lefties do, especially power lefties like Sam Hilliard is, he tried to go the other way, and it just completely screwed up his entire swing. And there were numerous stats they put out. If you want to go look up Sam Hilliard Fangraphs articles, you can find it talking about how he could be the starting left fielder for the Braves. And he had convinced, and he put together a really strong argument. So I was even more inclined to think Hilliard could be a big piece, because he already brings a lot to the table defensively and with the speed. It's just about getting his batting average to just being average. If he can be an average major leaguer, which right now, it's not ridiculous. I mean, the guy has the power, like you said, to hit 20, 25 homers. Now, he's not going to play enough to hit 20, 25 homers, but over 162 games, he's got that kind of power.
And he could definitely steal 20 bases.
Yeah, and with the shift ban done, like, he brings a lot to the table. Like, I would like to see him in the lineup more, and maybe not against lefties because he struggled against lefties, but against righties, I see no reason why he shouldn't be out there in left field. Defensively, with Acuna, Hilliard, and Harris, you have probably the best defensive outfield in baseball right there.
We haven't even talked about Vaughn Grissom. He's just come up and continued to hit. I mean, he might struggle. He struggles a little bit defensively, like we've seen, but I still contend those to nerves. And, the more he plays, the better he's going to get. But offensively, I mean, this guy's a major leaguer through and through. I mean, he's going to hit 280 lifetime.
He's not just a major leaguer. Like, he could be an all-star major league offensive player. Like, already. Like, he hit 380 before coming up, and he's hitting like 330, 340 right now. Came up with a game-winning RBI double. Like, the guy as a hitter, for whatever he lacks in confidence defensively, he lacks zero confidence offensively. I mean, the guy, it doesn't matter what time you want him up there. The guy's going to be an all-star one day. I don't know what position he's going to play, but he will be an all-star one day.